Hello, everybody, again. We're going to pick up on this one with start a new book. Start to begin some of the middle prophets, or earlier prophets. Nehemiah, Ezra. I think that's it. And it goes into Chronicles and Kings, and it's all historical. And we have Samuel, which is the earliest prophet in this Old Testament. Neither one of these is that long. Ezra is 10, Nehemiah is 13, looks like. Okay, the words of Nehemiah, son of Hakaliah, in the month of Kislev in the 20th year, while I was in the citadel of Susa. So this is Nehemiah speaking. I was in the citadel of Susa. Hanani, one of my brothers, came from Judah with some other men. Susa, I believe, was at that time, would have been Babylon, I think. Came from Judah with some other men, and I questioned them about the Jewish remnant that had survived the exile, which was in Babylon. So he was still in Babylon. And also about Jerusalem. They said to me, those who survived the exile are back in the province. Those who survived the exile and are back in the province are in great trouble and disgrace. The wall of Jerusalem is broken down, and its gates have been burned with fire. When I heard these things, I sat down and wept. For some days I mourned and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven. Then I said, Lord, the God of heaven, the great and awesome God, who keeps his covenant of love with those who love him and keep his commandments, let your ear be attentive and your eyes open to hear the prayer your servant is praying before you day and night for your servants, the people of Israel. I confess the sins we Israelites, including myself and my father's family, have committed against you. We have acted very wickedly toward you. We have not obeyed the commands, decrees, and laws you gave your servant Moses. Remember the instruction you gave your servant Moses, saying, if you are unfaithful, I will scatter you among the nations. But if you return to me and obey my commands, then even if you are exiled people or at the farthest horizon, I will gather them from there and bring them to the place I have chosen as a dwelling for my name. They are your servants and your people, whom you redeemed by your great strength and your mighty hand. Lord, let your ear be attentive to the prayer of your servant and to the prayer of your servants who delight in revering your name. Give your servant success today by granting him favor in the presence of this man. So Nehemiah is praying to God for the sake of his fellow Israelites, fellow Hebrews that are still in exile and are suffering in Israel back home. He's confessing sins in mass to people and asking for the Lord's help. Chapter 2. I was cupbearer to the king. In the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of King Artaxerxes, when wine was brought for him, I took the wine and gave it to the king. I had not been sad in his presence before, so the king asked me, why does your face look so sad when you are not ill? This can be nothing but sadness of heart. I was very much afraid, but I said to the king, may the king live forever. Why should my face not look sad when the city where my ancestors are buried lies in ruins and its gates have been destroyed by fire? So Nehemiah was a cupbearer for the king of it. Whatever they call him the king, I guess, of Babylon. He said to me, what is it you want? Then I prayed to the God of heaven, and I answered the king. If it pleases the king, and if his servant has found favor in his sight, let him send me to the city in Judah where my ancestors are buried so that I can rebuild it. Then the king, with the queen sitting beside him, asked me, how long will your journey take, and when will you get back? It pleased the king to send me, so I set a time. I also said to him, if it pleases the king, may I have letters to the governors of Trans-Euphrates, so they will provide me safe conduct until I arrive in Judah? And may I have a letter to Asaph, keeper of the royal park, so he will give me timber to make beams for the gates of the citadel by the temple, and for the city wall, for the residence I will occupy? Because the gracious hand of my God was on me, the king granted my request. So I went to the governors of Trans-Euphrates and gave them the king's letters. The king had also sent army officers and cavalry with me. When Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the Ammonite official heard about this, they were very much disturbed that someone had come to promote the welfare of the Israelites, which was neighbors, or had been their neighbors. I went to Jerusalem, and after staying there 3 days, I set out during the night with a few others. I had not told anyone what my God had put in my heart to do for Jerusalem. There were no mounts with me except the one I was riding on. By night I went out through the valley gate toward the Jackal well and the Dung gate, examining the walls of Jerusalem, which had been broken down, and its gates, which had been destroyed by fire. Then I moved on toward the fountain gate and the king's pool, but there was not enough room for my mount to get through. So I went up the valley by night, examining the wall. Finally, I turned back and re-entered through the valley gate. The officials did not know where I had gone or what I was doing, because as yet I had said nothing to the Jews, or the priests, or nobles, or officials, or any others who would be doing the work. And I said to them, "You see the trouble we are in? Jerusalem lies in ruins, and its gates have been burned with fire. Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, and we will no longer be in disgrace." I also told them about the gracious hand of my God, on me, and what the king had said to me. They replied, "Let us start rebuilding." So they began this good work. So he went back to Jerusalem, surveyed the scene, and then notified the officials and what he was all about, and they decided to rebuild the wall. And Nehemiah's wall is ruins are in evidence. Was he the one that played part in building in the well and reinforcing the city for later times? I can't remember. When Sanballat the Horonite, Tobiah the Ammonite official, and Geshem the Arab heard about it, they mocked and ridiculed us. "What is this you're doing?" they asked. "Are you rebelling against the king?" I answered them by saying, "The God of heaven will give us success. We, his servants, will start rebuilding. But as for you, you have no share in Jerusalem or any claim or historic right to it." Chapter 3. Eliashib, the high priest, and his fellow priests went to work and rebuilt the sheep gate. They dedicated it and set its doors in place, building as far as the Tower of the 100, which they dedicated, and as far as the Tower of Hananel. The men of Jericho built the adjoining section, and Zakur, son of Imri, built next to them. The fish gate was rebuilt by the sons of Hassanah. They laid its beams and put its doors and bolts and bars in place. Meremoth, son of Uriah, the son of Hakkoz, repaired the next section. Next to him, Meshullam, son of Berechiah, the son of Meshezabel, made repairs. So it's just telling who's repairing what. But the nobles would not bother to lift a finger. The other Joshana gate was repaired by Jehoiada. Goes on and on telling who built what. Down, again, telling who's giving the names of the people who built different various sections of the wall around the city. Valley Gate was repaired by Hanun, the residents of Noah. He built it and put its doors with their bolts and bars in place. He also repaired 1,000 cubits of the wall as far as the dung gates. This is very detailed, who built what and how much. Fountain Gate, who repaired that. The wall of Pool of Siloam by the King's Garden, who built that. Beyond him, Nehemiah, son of Azbuk, ruler of half the district of Bethzur, made repairs up to a point imposed opposite the tombs of David, as far as the artificial pool in the house of the heroes. Nehemiah's dug the well, I believe. Next to him, mentions again, it's all about the repairs. Who did what and how far. All the way through chapter 3. And then chapter 4 picks up with when Sanballat heard that we were rebuilding the wall. Sanballat was an official, somebody of consequence in Jerusalem, apparently. He became angry and was greatly incensed. He ridiculed the Jews in the presence of his associates in the army of Samaria. He said, "What are those feeble Jews doing? Will they restore their wall? Will they offer sacrifices? Will they finish it in a day? Can they bring the stones back to life from those heaps of rubble, burned as they are?" Tobiah the Ammonite, who was at his side, said, "What are they building? Even a fox climbing up on it would break down the wall of stone." So the neighbors, the peoples living nearby, were ridiculing them as to what they were trying to do. But they were focused on doing what the Lord said, regardless of what those around them were thinking or saying. So that's what happens when the Lord asks you to do something, gives you something to do. Don't worry about what others think, what others say. Just do what you are directed to do. The Lord will take care of them. Hear us, our God, for we are despised. Turn their insults back on their own heads. Give them over as plunder in the land of captivity. Do not cover up their guilt or blot out their sins from your sight, for they have thrown insults in the face of the builders. And these are neighbors, I think, that just stood by and didn't help them in the time of trouble. So we built the wall till all of it reached half its height, for the people worked with all their heart. But when Sanballat, Tobiah, and the Arabs, and the Ammonites, and the people of Ashdod heard that the repairs of Jerusalem's walls had gone ahead, the gaps were being closed, they were very angry. They all plotted together to come and fight against Jerusalem and stir up trouble against it. And the neighbors trying to stir up trouble. You gotta stay focused on what the Lord wants you to do. He'll take care of them. But we prayed to our God and posted the guard day and night to meet this threat. Meanwhile, the people in Judah said, the strength of the laborers is giving out, and there is so much rubble that we cannot rebuild the wall. Also, our enemies said, before they know it or see us, we will be right there among them and kill them and put an end to the work. Then the Jews who lived near them came and told us 10 times over, wherever you turn, they will attack us. Therefore, I stationed some of the people behind the lowest points of the wall at the exposed places, posting them by families with their swords, spears, and bows. After I looked things over, I stood up and said to the nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, don't be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome, and fight for your families, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your homes. When our enemies heard that we were aware of the plot and that God had frustrated it, we all returned to the wall, each to our own work. From that day on, half of my men did the work, while the other half were equipped with spears, shields, bows, and armor. The officers posted themselves beyond all the people of Judah who were building the wall. Those who carried materials did the work with one hand and held a weapon in the other, and each of the builders wore his sword at his side as he worked. But the man who sounded the trumpet stayed with me. Then I said to the nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, the work is extensive and spread out, and we are widely separated from each other along the wall. Wherever you hear the sound of the trumpet, join us there. Our God will fight for us. So we continued to work with half the men holding spears from the first light of dawn till the stars came out. At that time I also said to the people, have every man and his helper stay inside Jerusalem at night, so they can serve us as guards by night and as workers by day. Neither I nor my brothers, nor my men, nor the guards with me took off our clothes. Each had his weapon, even when he went for water. So he's posting guards, and as they build, half of them guarding, half of them working, to guard against the neighbors that stood by and ridiculed them, didn't help them when they were attacked initially, and were ridiculing them now and didn't want them to rebuild. So when God gives you something to do, when you believe because of your faith, when you're following God, and don't worry about what others think or say or do. Do not let them affect your faith, what it is you're supposed to do or be doing. Just ignore them, stand against them, continue to pray God, give him thanks and ask him for his help, and he'll take care of you, protect you, and guard you against those who seek to draw you out, because you're doing God's work. So the devil will attack you directly through spirit and indirectly by using others who don't believe in God or have weak faith. Are their minds are so easily manipulated and twisted. And you see this out in not just this country's politics, but throughout the world. Everything that's going on. It's so easy to see. See, once you closer you get to God and have that relationship with God, you're given that discernment. It said you ask for discernment of Him and of darkness and His will and His wisdom, knowledge, His words, your truth. So you're aware, become aware so much sooner, more easily of the chicanery and the trickery and the influences and the subtle manipulations, administrations of evil directly towards you and in others that you don't even associate with. You just see it. You can see it, how they're being manipulated. And then others around them are more easily manipulated. Just look at people that follow bad leaders and rulers. They don't have a relationship with God. They're very easily influenced. The longer you go without having a relationship with God, it's like leaving the front door unlocked. Then you get further away. It's like leaving all your doors open wide. Then your windows open. Then your walls down. So everybody, it's crazy. You need God in your life, not just when you're doing what He wants you to do, but every single day. Have that relationship with Him. Talk to Him. Ask for His help. Praise Him. Give thanks to Him for everything and anything, good and bad. Offer up all your burdens, guilt, sin, shame, sexual immorality, inordinate lust, uh, failures, successes, all that you are, every ounce of your being, your fears, your doubts, your worries, your grief, your sadness, vanity, everything. Offer it all up to Him and give thanks for Him and ask Him for His help because He knows it's hard. He knows it's hard. And if you get others against you trying to influence you, drag you away, or stop you from your path forward, whether it's doing a task or just day to day, you need His help. And He will give you that help. So that's the lessons of this part of Nehemiah. 5, we're almost halfway through it. Number 5, uh, next time, and maybe even finish it, see how it goes. As I said, a lot of it's just telling, listing things. So, yep, I can see forward. There's a lot of listing descendants and whatnot. So we'll take a go through that the rest of Nehemiah. We'll finish it next time, then be on to Ezra. So, as always, stay safe. Have the relationship with God, the Christ, Holy Mother Mary, the saints, angels, your loved ones who've moved on. They all know. They don't have the barriers that we have. They're aware far more than we are. And they have more ability and power to protect us and help us than we do for ourselves. So, peace of Christ. Stay safe. God bless. Amen.